Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dolphin Chronicles presented by Kendall Sports Network. I am Johnny Cruz. I am the Yankee fan, and I am here with my boy Byron. Byron, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
Not much, bro. Just here, getting ready for the game. How about you?
I'm good, man. Same here. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you know whenever we are going live. We are also broadcasting on Instagram, so definitely check us out there. If you can't, check us out on YouTube at Kendall Sports Network. Big game Monday night tonight, so we know everybody's going to be anxious to watch that game. So this is going to be a shortened episode. We're not going to go over the scores of this past weekend. I'm pretty sure you're all aware of what's going on. Our main focus right now is our Miami Dolphins at 2-5. 2-6. 2-6, going up against the 4-4 Los Angeles Rams at the Rams. We haven't had the greatest of history under the bright lights the last couple of years, but hopefully we can change that tonight. Shout out to our boy Alex, who just was not feeling it tonight to discuss our Miami Dolphins. But Byron and I are here to hold it down for a little bit. Byron, your initial thoughts again. 2-6 going into this game with the Rams Monday night. Tyreke is going to play tonight. Zach Sealer will be back tonight. River Craycraft has come off of the PUP list or the IR list, so he's available tonight as well. So we got some reinforcements back in the lineup. Mm-hmm. Your initial thoughts on our chances of pulling out the upset against these Los Angeles Rams?
Well, I don't know about our chances, but this is the season.
I agree.
If we win, they'll continue forward. If we lose, and I'm calling it here now, you're going to see all of these different players all of a sudden are going to be going out for the season. They're going to be having surgeries that are going to be season ending. They're going to take advantage of this time to get healthy for next season. Some of these veterans are going to go on IR, and then the youth movement is going to begin. So it's this is where they make their stand. It's now or season down the toilet.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment there at the end. This is basically their season on the line here. Again, 2-6. Can they possibly win 8 out of 9 or 9 in a row? They did it a few years ago where we won 7 or 8 in a row when we started out 1-7. So there isn't an opponent on their schedule that I don't think that they can beat. I think they can beat anybody that's left on the schedule. On the flip side, I think they can easily lose to everybody that's left on their schedule, which is just exactly what the Dolphin team has shown us up to this point right now. If there's one thing you've noticed that I have noticed from this NFL season is that you never know. Any team can beat any team in this league. That's what makes the NFL so much fun. Yeah, except for Philly, Dallas. I mean, Dallas is an absolute, you know what I'm saying, about as big a mess as we're in right now. But I'm with you as far as 2-7 is a lot to come back from, because even if you do win, I just don't see you winning 8 in a row. If you start out 2-7 to go 10-7, but I like our chances to win this game because of the Rams' defense being on the younger side. They've got a pretty young secondary. One thing that I did notice in the Buffalo game is there were a few more double moves, so there were a couple more shots taken down the field, something we haven't done much of the season. So maybe that's something that we can pull out against this LA Rams team. But on the other side, I'm totally worried about what Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and company can possibly do to us. They've got a great head coach. For all the praise that McDaniel gets for being a genius and a guru and all that, Sean McVay has proven that to the highest degree, obviously taking his team to a championship. So I think we can win this game. I have hope that we can win this game, but I'm with you. This is the season on the line right now. 2-7 is a lot to ask for. That'll be interesting though to see. Do you think there'll be any major changes if we lose this game?
No, I don't think there'll be any major changes. But you mentioned the fact that that offense is Matthew Stafford and company, Cooper Cup, Puka Nakua. My fear is right now, the only positive is Zach Cedars coming back.
Right.
But I'm worried about not being able to put pass rush together. And if you give Matthew Stafford time, you can have 8 Jalen Ramseys back there. He's going to carve them up.
Yeah, he's going to carve them up.
So that would be my worry.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And one thing that we keep seeing for the optimists out there, they like to point at the pass rush win rate that Chop Robinson has, and yeah, that's all fine and dandy that he wins a lot of his pass rush attempts, but he needs to finish. I mean, he has the 1 sack on the season, and for a top 25 pick, first round pick, to me that's just not good enough. To be quite honest, I know you're not thrilled with that pick, so I'll let you. I'll give you the mic here. What are your thoughts with the whole pass rush win rate that Chop Robinson is supposed to be one of the top ones in the league, but he's just not finishing it off? What are your thoughts on Chop in a whole?
I don't see it. There isn't a motor there. There isn't I don't see a dog. If you're going to be a defensive player in the first round, you need to be a dog. You need to either be extremely super talented or have a motor that puts you in position to make plays. I don't think he's super talented. I think he's good, but I don't see the motor, and that worries me. Christian Wilkins, if at all, he was going to give you every bit of energy he had, and I feel like it's what allowed him to succeed even above whatever his talent level was. I don't see that with this pick, and it worries me for a first round pick.
Yeah, that's worrisome to hear, because that was one of the things that you heard when he got drafted, was the fact that he had an incredible motor, that he had all these athletic skills and stuff like that. They've obviously haven't translated to the pro game yet. Again, he's only got the 1 sack or whatever he has on the season. It's not many at all. So that's a little worrisome if you're worried about the lack of motor when that was supposed to be one of his strengths. I don't like to call players busts halfway through their first season, so I'm not going to go that far into it.
I made an exception on Caleb.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. But there were so many different areas that we could have addressed with that pick, including the offensive line. Although I do have to say the offensive line as a unit has played better together over the last couple of weeks. Of course, as soon as we say that, Austin Jackson was just put on the IR, so I'm going to assume Kendall Lamb will start at right tackle. So that's a shame right there, because again, this offensive line had been playing pretty well the last few weeks. But you know what I'm saying, this is to his 3rd game back. So hopefully the chemistry, I don't think there was much rust there. I think he played fairly well the last 2 games. Our defense couldn't make a stop when we needed them to make a stop against Arizona, you know what I'm saying, and then of course against Buffalo last week. And then of course, their kicker hits a 61-yarder against us when he had been struggling for most of the year, including missing an extra point in that game. He hits a 61-yarder right down the middle, probably would have been good from 71. But then you see a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, where they wind up blocking a chip shot field goal to help them win the game. And I mentioned it on our recap show yesterday. Shout out to Nick Botkins in the Botkins show. Good teams find a way to win games, and unfortunately, we've been finding ways to lose games lately, which sucks. and which is why we're in the situation that we're in. So let's go ahead and let's discuss a couple keys to the game. I mentioned that Tyreke is back in the lineup. And before we get off, I gave the teaser last week, but we weren't able to have a show because of light. But I will give you why I think the trade for Tyreke Hill was the biggest mistake for Mike McDaniel. But what are your thoughts on our keys to the game to possibly try to pull up the upset?
Run the football to have extended drives would be my key, and it's a twofold reason. One, their offense is on the sideline. That's number one. But when we're on the field, our defense is on the sideline, and that defense can use a little bit of a break in terms of usage on the field. These last couple of weeks we've seen the deficiencies in the fourth quarter. I think that if you can sustain drives using our run game and our short, quick passing game, I think it would be beneficial for that defense to be on the sideline as much as possible. Not that they're a liability; they've just been put under the gun for since the Tua injury.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. A lot of our fan base has been putting these last couple losses on the defense, and while it's a team game, and I will say that we needed the defense to make a stop in these last couple games. At the same time, our offense had opportunities to close out the game, and we haven't been able to. We haven't been able to go on that sustained drive in the middle or late fourth quarter to either kill the clock or to put some even if it's 3 points on the board to kind of close out a game. So while our defense hasn't come up with that big stop at the end of a game to help us win the game, our offense hasn't taken advantage of the opportunities that they had to kind of seal a game either. So I think it's obviously it's both sides of the ball need to play well, and special teams has just been an absolute joke for the last several years. I don't know how our special teams coach still has his job, but it's definitely going to take all three facets of the game for us to pull out a victory here on Monday night on the road at a really good Rams team. They've been playing well, this Rams team, and like you mentioned, if we can't get a pass rush on Matthew Stafford, he's going to carve us up.
You know who I miss? Darren Rizzi.
Oh yes, yeah, and he was here forever. And look, he got himself, he got his first win yesterday. So shout out to him with the New Orleans Saints getting that victory there. We talked about that last night on the show. Atlanta, what a choke job there with an opportunity to gain a game again in the NFC South. And you lose to a New Orleans Saints team that had lost 7 in a row. But yeah, I missed Rizzi as well. He's a hell of a coach, and we could definitely use him on our special teams. But yeah, so I mean, I'm with you there. You'll say we need to run the ball. We need to establish the running game. We need to keep the Rams off the field. So I agree with you on that. And a couple turnovers would be nice. You know what I'm saying? Can we get a pick? Can we get a fumble? We're gonna need all of that to be able to pull out this victory here against this Rams team. Because, like I said, this Rams team is playing well, and they have to continue to play well. Because Arizona has been a nice surprise in that NFC West. San Francisco came away with a big win against Tampa Bay yesterday. So the Rams are in a dogfight for that NFC West, and they're right there in the mix. So they need this game. Just as bad as we do. Not as bad as we definitely need it more because like Byron said, this is pretty much our season on the line here. So all right, with that being said, again, we gave you what we think the Dolphins need to do to win this game.
Can I give you one more key?
Absolutely, man, go ahead.
You were speaking and it got me thinking. You know who needs to make a play? Speaking of making plays, one of our safeties, the safety play without Javon Holland has been atrocious.
Yep.
I feel like Jordan Poyer,
Marcus May,
they're pros, but they've been terrible this season.
Yeah,
And
god
I feel like,
awful.
yeah, they need to step up as a unit. Because Javon does what he does. He does what he's asked to do, and even does a little bit more, like, evidenced against the Jaguars with that punch out. But that unit needs to be able to make a play, in order for us to win this game. Is where I would put it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you in that point. The safety play has been atrocious, and that's one of the areas where there were plenty of free agent safeties on the market, and we took the cheap route. We took the cheap the cheap pay for Jordan Poyer. We took the cheap route with Marcus May when there were some quality safeties available. And I mean, call me crazy, but I'm anxious for Patrick McMorris to get back, the rookie 7th-round pick that we got out of Cal, just to see what he can do, because at least he made some plays in the offseason. He seems to be a smart player in that backfield, so hopefully he gets some run, because I agree with you that the safety play has been absolutely horrid. So we need guys to step up today, big time. All right, so before we wrap this up, I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts on the whole Tyreke Hill trade and why I think it was the worst thing for Mike McDaniel. The reason that I feel that it was the worst thing for Mike McDaniel is because I think it changed his entire mindset of how he wanted to run an offense down here in Miami. If you recall, before we made the trade for Tyreke Hill, we had just signed the Wilson kid from Dallas. I'm blank. Said we had just signed Cedric Wilson, who was a nice size, number 2 receiver. We were going to have Waddle. He had just signed Raheem Mostert, and I think his plan for the team was going to be a run-based play action RPO. Do you even see many RPOs anymore? Not really.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right, but even with Tua, we don't see it as much as we did the first season. So I think that was going to be the identity of this team. I think we were going to be more of a run-first type of offense with a lot of play action, maybe some bootleg RPO type stuff off of it. But as soon as we got that weapon, that playmaker on the outside, I think Mike McDaniel's entire mentality on his offense turned into a pass-first offense, where I think if Tyreke Hill never gets traded here, I think we would have been a run-first offense with play action for Tua and stuff like that, because that's what he was known for, was his was the run game coordinator. So I really think there would have been more of an emphasis on running the ball and play action off of the run game and stuff like that if we didn't make that trade for Tyreke Hill. I think making the trade for Tyreke Hill changed Mike McDaniel's mindset on the type of offense he wanted to run. Plus, it also seemed to put pressure on Chris Grier and company to make moves to go for it that same year. That's the same year that we wound up making the trade for Bradley Chubb, which I thought was a mistake. I wanted Roquan Smith, and they went for Bradley Chubb. So I think that domino of trading for Tyreke Hill completely changed Mike McDaniel's mindset on what type of offense he wanted to run. And then I think it sped up the clock for Chris Grier and company to make more moves and go all in when they would have let Mike McDaniel kind of slow it, kind of slow their way with that first season to build and see what Mike McDaniel could do with Tua in this offense. I think it would have been a completely different scenario, a completely different offense. It might not have been the big high scoring type offense that we've seen these last couple of years, which I admit I've had a lot of fun watching us scoring so many points. But it's caught up to us this season. And I think if we don't make that trade for Tyreke Hill, I think we're more of a run-based offense. And who knows, we could be possibly one of the best running teams in the league. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, we were a top running team last year. Yeah, we were a top running team last year, but at the same time, our offense was mostly pass. But yes, we also ran the ball, where if we don't have Tyreke Hill there, I think we're a run-first team, a run-first offense. And I think that would have helped keep Tua healthy, because we would have been more of a running attack type team. And I just think Mike McDaniel's whole mindset would have been different if we didn't have Tyreke Hill there. We wouldn't be complaining about the fact that he doesn't stick to the run, because I think his whole mentality would have been to run the ball first. Just my thoughts on that one.
I couldn't agree more. I think that there's just one snag with your thinking.
Okay.
They didn't pour any resources into the one unit we want them to pour resources into.
Yeah. The offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can build that team without pouring resources into that into that unit. But I agree with you. I think that that's the unit that should have been build it from the inside out, not the outside in.
See, but what about, let's say we don't trade for Tyreke Hill? We would have had a first-round pick. We would have had a second-round pick. I mean, if we don't trade Bradley Chubb, that's another first-round pick. Who's to say we wouldn't have built on our offensive line if we had those first-round picks that we traded away?
Here's
you know
what I
mean?
Say. What is Chris Greer's history in drafting offensive linemen? You would have been comfortable with that?
I mean, not really, but I would have hoped that, you know what I'm saying, with some Mike McDaniel and some Mike Smith input, that would have helped with some of the choices on the offensive line. But again, I just think the fact that we got the Cheetah, that completely changed Mike McDaniel's thought process on how he wanted the offense to look and how he wanted to run the offense. And I think that changed their mindset as far as going for it that same season, because we went out, we got up to a 6-3 or 7-3 record right away, and then we made the trade for Bradley Chubb, and of course, we flamed out towards the end of the season, just like we did last year as well. And then this year we just started out horrendously. So that's just something that I thought about a couple weeks ago, where it just hit me like, if we didn't trade for Tyreke Hill, would we have been more? Would we have had an identity finally of being like a running team? I think there would have been more of a chance of that if we never traded for Tyreke Hill. I think we would have tried to establish ourselves as a smash mouth run the ball first team, play action, RPO type team, and it just makes you think what could have possibly been had that trade not been made. But nevertheless, Tyreke Hill is here. He is playing tonight, so hopefully he can actually make a play, because after the first 2 seasons where he broke all these records, this season has been absolutely atrocious, the numbers that he's putting up, and Jalen Waddle has become basically an afterthought. I mean, he has been, and that's another part of the Tyreke Hill effect, in my opinion, because I think Waddle would have been featured a lot more if Tyreke Hill wasn't here. Would he have put up Tyreke Hill numbers? No, because there's only one Tyreke Hill. But I think this offense would have been different. I think we would have run the ball more, and it would have been interesting to see what happens. Not that still can't happen. So hopefully Mike McDaniel learns from it. Hopefully we have a good game plan going into this game, because the Rams are going to try to put it on us. So we better be ready to play in all 3 facets. That was just my thought on the what if we didn't trade for Tyreke Hill. I think our offense would have been a completely different looking offense. Not to say that we wouldn't have had a successful offense, because I think we would have, because of the zone blocking scheme and stuff like that. And then the running backs that we've drafted, maybe we would be using Jalen Wright a little more. But hopefully we start to do that, especially after Raheem Mostert. What are your thoughts on that thing? I got to ask you before we call it a night. And again, if you're new, hit the subscribe, smash that like button, turn on your notifications for all the people on Instagram. What's going on? Hope you're having a great Monday. What are your thoughts on the fact that Raheem Mostert still gets carries and starts, even though he's fumbled 2 of the last 3 weeks?
I think he's your veteran. He's your leader. You have to feature him, because we don't know if he's the one who sets the tone. I understand that right now Devin Achane is the person, the running back.
He's the best back. He's the best back we got.
Right. But it may be that we don't see the things Raheem Mostert does for him, that he may still hold value in that starting lineup. I don't know if that makes any sense. So
no, it does make sense. It worries me, though, that Mike McDaniel may be loyal to a fault. You know what I'm saying? Because in my eyes, the best players should play. And Devon Achane,
you know how Here's my thing. Raheem Mostert might get the start, but he'll get 10 carries. Achane might not start, but he's getting 15 to 20. So does it matter who's starting if
No, I get that, but I mean, give the rookie some more carries, bro. I mean, the kid's averaging almost 6 yards a carry. Like, why isn't he getting any more touches than what he's getting? And I don't. Please tell me that by week 10 we are. Excuse me. That this kid doesn't know enough of the playbook to be able to get more carries, especially with the fumble history that with the fumbles that Raheem has been dealing with these last few weeks. Like give the kid some run, man. That's just my thought.
To keep him fresh.
Okay, but what are you keeping them fresh for? For when we're 2-11?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? I mean,
we'll find out after this.
We need to win some games. The hell with being fresh, man. Put that kid out there on the field. I want to see Achane and Jalen Wright on the field at the same time, especially with the way Devon Achane's been catching the ball out the backfield. So hopefully we see some more of that in this run game. Well, it'll be interesting to see, but we're gonna cut it short here because it's 8:00 and it's time for some Monday Night Football coming up soon, and people might want to get their last minute stuff in. So again, hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, turn on your notifications. The Dolphin Chronicles every Monday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Make sure your notifications are on because life happens and sometimes we got to skip a week like we did last week. This week in Miami, Tuesday nights is the official night.
Tomorrow.
This week in Miami with my boy Byron and Alex, and they always have some special guests. I might jump on every once in a while, but we got other people, a part of the Kendall Sports family that you might see on some shows, including this week in Miami. We got False 9. What day are you doing? Are you still doing that on Thursdays?
Yeah, not this Thursday. Next Thursday is going to be our season recap, seeing as how Inter Miami flamed out this past Saturday. But on Wednesdays, we do have Hurricane Warning
yes.
in the Canes.
Yes, Hurricane Warning. The new Miami Hurricane show started a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I want to say about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
About 4 or 5 weeks ago now. That is every Wednesday with my boy Byron. And what's your boy? Is it Manny?
Miami Manny
on there. I might have to jump on them with them this week, even though it's a bye week for us for our Hurricanes. But Miami Hurricane fans, don't stress the Georgia Tech loss. If we win out, we win the ACC title, we will be in the playoffs. Don't let the national media hate because that's all they've been waiting. They've been waiting for us to lose a game so that they can try to shit on us. You know what I'm saying? They've been propping us up so that as soon as we lose, they can try to shit on us. But if Miami Hurricanes, if you win out, win the ACC title, you'll be in the playoffs, and then Cam Ward, do what you got to do in those playoffs. That's all I care about. Just make it to the dance. And they still have it all in front of them. So that is on Wednesday nights. Again, False 9, not on this week. It'll be on next week with Byron and Mark, where they'll do a season recap. So, again, if you're new, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button. Kendall Sports Network. We got a lot of stuff going on. Definitely check us out. For Byron, I am Tony Cruz. Shout out to our boy Alex. This is the Dolphin Chronicles. We will see you next week. Fins up, baby. Let's get a win tonight. Peace.
Oh,